Welcome to What's Bothering Rashi, Parsha's Bamidbar, Tavshin Pei Vav. Today we're starting a new Sefer, a new book, Chumash Bamidbar. And before we start, I'd just like to share with you a few things my father, Alav Shalom, taught us when learning Rashi and understanding the way he wrote his commentary. The first thing is that it seems that Rashi makes a point to start each Sefer, Rashi, Shmos, Vayikra, each Sefer with a medrash that demonstrates Hashem's love, either to Am Yisrael and to Eretz Yisrael, like he does in Bereshis, or to Am Yisrael, like he does in Shemos, or to the prophets of Bnei Yisrael, like he does in Vayikra, and then in Devarim again, his love to Bnei Yisrael. And today we'll see also the beginning, the first Rashi in Chumash Bamidbar, is a Rashi that brings a medrash that demonstrates how much Hashem loves his people. That's number one. Number two, we know already that it's extremely important to look at Rashi's Dibur HaMaschil. Dibur HaMaschil are the first words of his comment, which are usually in bold, and they help us understand what was bothering Rashi, what he's coming to explain. So my father said Rashi always quotes the first word of each Sefer, whether he's going to explain that word or not. At the beginning of each Sefer, you'll have Bereshis, you'll have Eile Shmois, you'll have Vayikra, you'll have the first words, even if he doesn't explain those. Usually he does explain those words. But even if he doesn't, he'll write the first word of each beginning of each Sefer in his first Rashi. The second thing is that when in his Dibur HaMaschil, he'll write the beginning of each Parsha, the name of each Parsha, even if he doesn't explain those words. For example, B'Shalach, usually he does explain those words, but by Yehi B'Shalach Paro, he doesn't explain anything. The first thing he comments on is Velo Nacham. Nevertheless, the beginning of B'Shalach, the Dibur HaMaschil of Rashi is Vayehi B'Shalach. Because Rashi will always mention the name of the Parsha, whether he explains those words or not. And that brings us to this week's Rashi, which is unique, the only time in the whole Chumash where you'll find such a Rashi. The first Rashi has three parts to it. The Dibur HaMaschil has three parts to it. Vayedaber, B'midbar Sinai, Be'echad L'chodesh. We're going to see soon that the words he is trying to explain are the last, Be'echad L'chodesh. Nevertheless, he brings the word Vayedaber because it's the beginning of a new Sefer. He brings the words B'midbar Sinai because that's the name of the Parsha, Bamidbar. And then he brings the words that bother him in the Pasuk. So therefore, when you read and look inside, you'll see Rashi has a long Dibur HaMaschil, Vayedaber, B'midbar Sinai, Be'echad L'chodesh. That's an introduction. So what does Rashi say? Rashi says, Mitochi batan lefanav, since Hashem, as we said, loves Am Yisrael, moneh otam kol sha'ah. He counts them every time, many times. Ksheyatzum miMitzrayim, when they left Egypt, he counted us. Ukshenaflu ba'egel, when the Chet HaEgel and many people passed away, he counted us to know how many were left. And when he builds the Mishkan, when he dwells in the Mishkan, he counts us again. And that is the counting now. Be'echad b'Nisan ukam Mishkan, u'be'echad be'Iyar, which is be'echad l'chodesh hasheni, b'shana hashenit, as it says in this pasuk, he counted us again. When a person loves something, he counts it. That shows how much he loves it. So what was bothering Rashi? Furthermore, it seems that Rashi is focusing on Hashem counting us. It doesn't say anywhere in the pasuk that Hashem counts us. It says it in the next pasuk. Pasuk bet, Se'u et rosh kol adat b'nei Yisrael. Count b'nei Yisrael. Rashi should have said it there, that Hashem counts us, and that shows how much he loves us. Why does Rashi say it here? And what's bothering Rashi in this pasuk? So Mefarshei Rashi explain, again, you look at the Dibur HaMaschil of Rashi. As we said, Vayedaber is the beginning, B'midbar Sinai is the name. Be'echad L'chodesh, that's what's bothering Rashi. Be'echad L'chodesh. Why does it have to say when Hashem said this to Moshe? You have so many psukim where it says, Vaydaber Hashem al Moshe lemor. Vaydaber Hashem al Moshe lemor. It doesn't say when it was. And here it says, Be'echad lechodesh, a specific time. Why does it have to say that? That is what was bothering Rashi. And that's why he explains it here, and not in the next pasuk. The next pasuk does say he counted us, but here we have a problem. Why does it say Be'echad lechodesh? So that is what was bothering Rashi, but how does it answer? How does his answer the question? Why does it say the time we were counted? So there are two ways. There's one Mefarish in Rashi called the Levush Ora, written by Reb Mordechai Yafe Zatzal, was born I think in 1530 or so in Poland. And he says that Rashi says Hashem counts us, it shows his love. He says when a man gets married to a woman, they write a ketubah, and in the ketubah there is a date when it was written. So therefore, says Rashi, since this is showing how much Hashem loves us, we mention also a date, the same way a date is mentioned in the ketubah between a man and a woman who get married. That's what the Levush Ora says. The Maharal Miprag, who lived more or less the same time, maybe a bit later, more or less the same time, the Maharal says a bit more, and it's Meduyak in Rashi's words. The Maharal says what shows you love something, yes, it's when you count it. But you know what shows more that you love something? When you count it again and again and again in a very short period of time. And that's what Rashi is saying. Mitochi batan lefanav mone otam kol sha'a. So now it's important to know when he counted us. Because if he counted us in the first year, and then in the 20th year, and then in the 40th year, okay, he counts us, it shows a bit of love. But if all these three countings happened the same year or two, that shows he really, really, really loves us. And therefore it's important to write when it happened. Be'echad lachodesh hasheni. B'shana hasheni, the second year, he just counted us when we left Egypt. He counts us again. And then again. The counting, but not only the counting in a very, very short period of time is what demonstrates the utmost love Hashem has to Am Yisrael. So therefore it's important to mention, Be'echad lechodesh. We have an answer. Why does it say the dates? Because that's part of what shows Hashem's love. Not only that he counted us, like it says in the next pasuk, but when he counted us, like it says in this pasuk. Have a wonderful Shabbos.